I honestly feel like today's prompt is like a trip down memory lane, and I was like pulling manga off the shelf this morning or this afternoon, and I was like, wow, this feels nostalgic in a really weird kind of way. Hello friends, happy Wednesday. It is the start of a new top 5 Wednesday for a new month, and I do apologize in advance if I don't have my typical energy. I ate a bagel, and technically I'm not supposed to eat bagels. I'm allergic to gluten, but I'm like, I will live on edge because usually my reactions aren't that bad. Today said no go, no go, and so I'm fighting back a migraine from a bagel that I wanted to eat at lunch today. So totally bear with me. I am very excited for this prompt though. I had to do some thinking. This prompt was a suggestion by one of my Patreon members, and if you would like to sign up for Patreon or become a channel member, the sign up link is down below. I'm going to be having a new video coming out here exclusively for them very soon. I'm just debating if I want to film at my house or if I want to film when I'm at the library tomorrow. So I guess to be determined. Talking about Top 5 Wednesday, and in case if you're not familiar with it, in a nutshell, sorry guys, I think that is the Amazon delivery truck, and I think he's delivering, I think it's volume 19 of Queen's Quality. I can't tell if he pulled into our neighborhood. Sorry, that was very random. I guess I'll keep you posted if it really was and he walks up to the house. But in case if you're not familiar with Top 5 Wednesday, in a nutshell, basically each week I answer a prompt using 5 books, but in this case I do manga to reflect the said prompt. Today's prompt is summer jobs or jobs in fiction. There have been so many graduations that have been happening recently, like college, high school, I guess middle school and elementary school as well. Though middle school and elementary school, I don't think they're looking for summer jobs, but you know, with the summer coming and people wanting to make some extra money. So we're having a fun little twist on this of what are some summer jobs or jobs, I went with both just in case, but summer jobs or jobs in manga that we think would be sort of fun. I wanted to do what I thought would be sort of fun, but I was actually really struggling because when I was going through my manga, I kept finding the same jobs. And I'm like, okay, I know there's other jobs out there, but I'm like, have I just not read them in manga? Most of them I feel like would make a good summer job, and some of them are summer jobs, or like they took the job, like the character took the job during their winter break to make some extra money. But the first one I decided to go with, it's sort of like a 2-for-1, but I'm just gonna do one, is either you could say a waiter slash hostess, or you could say like a freelance graphic designer kind of thing. I'm saying Soma from Play It Cool Guys, because in this volume specifically, he is sort of playing around with graphic design and his friend reaches out to him and it's like, hey, or I think either they reached out to him or Soma volunteered to make a CD jacket for their upcoming single that they wanted to physically have produced. And so he's doing these different ideas and he's made 2 different ones, but he ends up sending the wrong photo to his friend and she's like, what is this? Like, what did you just send me? This is the one that he ended up sending. This is the one he ended up sending his friend. And obviously that is not it. I don't think the picture is big enough to see what he actually sent her. I'm not really sure where it's at, but he made these really beautiful designs for her CD jacket and they were so good. They were so good. So I wanted to say like oh my goodness, yes, I was right. The Amazon person is right out there and they didn't put it under my door. Well, that's okay. That's okay. It's on my porch. I will get it when this video is over. But yes, Queen's Quality is here. I guess I'm going to be reading that later today. Anyway, sorry. We will focus back on the video. We will focus back on the video. Yeah, I thought sort of he's not doing this to get paid. He's sort of just doing this because he wants to put his name out there and he wants to help his friend. I feel like there's a few other things that maybe he did in the earlier volumes, but this certain situation, this certain scene is what vividly came to mind of like freelance graphic designer. I don't know if it was last year, but there for a few years, I was writing reviews for the Clean Fiction magazine and I would do just manga reviews, and that was something I did mainly over the summer because I thought was really fun. And I also did a little bit of like working with this one publisher friend of mine, well, author friend of mine who ran a publishing house, like an indie one. And so I would work with her to do like different graphics and design them for her and for her publishing house. And so I thought of that and used real life to inspire my pick for Soma today, and doing the whole freelancing graphic design, really trying to put yourself out there and push yourself outside of your comfort zone persona as well, because he really didn't know what he was doing at first, but he did such a great job. Like the CD design he made was just really good, and he did 2 different ideas, and so he's learning and growing. I was really happy that it was like a happy ending for him, despite the huge mix-up of sending the wrong photo to her. For number 2, okay, look y'all, bear with me. I was like just pulling at straws here, okay, and I was like, okay, this is like an unpaid job, and I'm like, I'm sure there's somebody on the world that can relate to our main girl here. That job for number 2, I'm saying Chiaki from Gazing at the Star Next Door, where her job is basically to wake up her best friend, who is like a model slash actor, and her job is to basically make sure that she wakes him up to get to school on time or to get to wherever he has to go. She acts like she doesn't like this job, but she has a huge crush on him. Oh, it is such a good series. It's 2 volumes right now, but it is so very good, and I feel bad for her because she sees his, like, I guess you would say his sleeping face and sees how cute he is. There was a time where she's trying to, I don't know if it was in volume 1 or volume 2, but you know how it goes. She's trying to pull him out of bed, ends up falling on top of him. Of course, then she blushes really hard because she really likes this guy, and he doesn't seem to realize that she likes him. But hopefully things are going to be unfolding, and like I said, I feel like I'm like, you know, this is on the not conventional side of summer jobs, and she sort of does this anytime he's home. And she's tried, like, because he has, I think it's like 5 to 6 alarm clocks, and he will just not wake up. He will, I guess, either sleep through them or just let them keep going. And so she's got to go over, because he lives right next door or like right across from their apartment in the apartment building that they live in. And so she's got to go over and make sure he turns off the alarm so it doesn't like wake up everybody in the apartment complex. And she'll be like, Mom, why don't you go do it? Or nobody's going to notice with all of these alarms going off. But yet she keeps doing it. Chiaki's amazing. I really love her as a female lead. She's so funny and so transparent. I'm really hoping our guy, I'm like, dude, I need you to see out, especially with how volume 2 ended. Like, I need you to see that she really cares for you. I feel like, I guess I could have said maybe acting or modeling, but I feel like that's like full-time for our guy and not something necessarily would probably maybe have for a summer job. Though I did have a friend in high school for many years when school got out. She actually did modeling on the side during summer. She would go to like photo shoots, and she did walk down a runway of like a local event that happened. And so, I mean, that could work too. But I felt like Chiaki, the unpaid job here of waking up her childhood best friend to make sure that he goes to school and goes where he needs to go, it felt a little bit more realistic for me personally. For number 3, I'm really excited to feature this one because it's actually the only fantasy-based job I have. Well, the job's not fantasy-based, but the manga itself is. And I wanted to say Aurora from The Fiancé Chosen by the Ring. In this volume specifically, everything good has been happening with her and Felix. They're finally a couple. They're an item, and I'm really happy. And so she's going to her like other house. I forget what they would call them. They have like their summer house, but they are going somewhere for the fall, and there's this festival that happens, and her family is basically in charge of making these costumes for this certain festival. So I was thinking, okay, it's not necessarily a summer job, but she does it once a year at this set time every year, where she uses her skills in embroidery and as a seamstress to make these costumes. Long time ago, I was never a seamstress, I guess you would say, and I definitely have never done embroidery, but I really was into sewing for a long time. I made like some dresses, I've made pillows, I've made blankets, I've made a purse for myself before. Loved that purse so much. It was really cool. It was like a messenger bag kind of thing. So I felt like that maybe in the past could have worked for me. I also did some cross stitching, but this was sort of like a different kind of pick, and I just thought it'd be fun to feature a seamstress, and I guess somebody that does embroidery. And I did have a friend, her mom was sort of like that. It was more of a full-time job though, but she would get more people wanting her services over the summer, though I don't really know why. I think it had something to do with maybe like more weddings taking place during the summer. Yeah, it was a fun trip down memory lane. Like, I feel like all of these jobs are just, except for Chiaki's, that they all link back to some real life memory here. So you're just getting, I guess, the inside scoop. But yeah, being a seamstress though, I feel bad for Aurora because it feels like it's a lot, and like her family doesn't really seem to sew or be into embroidery like that. I mean, like her maids will help her and whatnot, but she's doing the brunt of the work. Like, she's the one doing the actual designs and the embroidery itself. Nobody else in her family seems to be doing that. So it's like all on her, and I feel really bad for her because things happen. And Felix is like, why aren't you responding to my letters? And she's like, it's not that I don't want to, I'm just so busy with this festival right now, I can't like put any of my time anywhere else. So for this one, I'm going to say a seamstress. And like I said, I guess you're just getting the inside scoop and how these picks were inspired. For number 4, I couldn't find the exact volume, and I was going to look, and I said, no, Laura, I said, you got to wait until volume 8 comes out, then you are able to start the beginning and reread this. That is Hotaru in a condition called love. She gets a job at a bookshop, and I cannot remember why she gets the job. It's a part-time job, and she doesn't just get it in the summertime. I found when Hanoni, when he actually, I hope I said his name right, because I feel like if I'm not looking at it, that I always struggle with it. But anyway, this is the volume that he gets the job at the bookstore as well. And I just thought that'd be so fun. I applied for when it was still open at the Lifeway Christian bookstores. We had one that was near the college that I went to a few years ago, well, quite a few years now, but at the time when I was in college, okay, yeah, there was a bookstore there, and I applied there, and I almost got the job. I had an interview and everything. That was the closest I've ever been to actually working at a bookstore, which I feel like for a really long time was like my dream job, that I thought would be like the coolest thing, even like being a librarian, but I didn't know that you have to actually go to school to be a librarian. But that was like my dream job for the longest time. But like I said, I didn't know that to be a librarian that you had to like actually go to school. You couldn't just like show up and just, you know, work as a librarian. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I was very, very naive. And so Hotaru here, though, she just works as a clerk, and she like wraps books, and then she'll shelf the books and whatnot. I guess take them off. She does stuff in the back. And so she does a little bit of everything. And I just think it's the coolest thing. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like, you have one of the coolest jobs, Hotaru. And I'm glad that you enjoy it, because I would love it if I were you. And once again, more chaos unfolds because my son got my package for me. So I'm going to open it up real fast. We're going to have a little, I was going to say unboxing, but it's not really unboxing because we're taking out my package. But here it is. Oh my gosh. Yes, here it is. Oh, look how cute they are. I'm really hoping that this volume doesn't make me sob the way the last volume did. Oh, it is volume 19. Oh, I already saw some things, so we're not going to flip through anymore. We're going to go back. I don't think anybody in Queen's Quality gets a summer job. Not that they would have time being sweepers. That is their job. That is their job. But I'm not going to feature that today, but I do love the series. Very excited to be reading that. But going back to Hotaru, I'm glad that, yeah, she enjoys working as a clerk at the bookstore, because I just think that would be a really fun job. Probably even now it's still a little bit low-key a dream job, because I know like my friend Shae Geeks Out, she works at a bookstore, and I'm like, this is just the coolest thing. I think it'd be cool to just be surrounded by books, things that you love. I can imagine she doesn't just work like say with like manga, like she works in other departments, but it'd still be really, really cool. Talking about dream jobs, for number 5, I'm going to say Yuki from A Sign of Affection. She gets a job at a cafe, and she's sort of like a barista slash, I think she makes more food, but I know like in the latest volume, she tells Itsuomi, I can make a really good cup of coffee. For the longest time, I thought being a barista, I still actually do, is one of the coolest jobs a person can have. To be able to create those cool designs on the coffee, coolest thing. Like nothing can deter me from thinking that is just so amazing. And some of the designs that are made are like really detailed. I'm like, dude, this is like foam, or it's just how they, like when they pour the milk or the cream with the heart. I'm like, dude, I don't know how to do that. That's mind blowing. And I know it takes a lot of time, and like a friend of mine used to be a barista. I don't think she is now, but she would actually practice outside of work, just pouring to try and nail these designs. And I just, again, think it's the coolest thing. So I knew when I was thinking of jobs, I think Yuki's sort of doing like a summer job. I feel like it's more part-time though. It's a little bit of both, because she's saving up for a trip to take with Itsuomi. And so I just love though how she's thriving at this place, and how she's just like, I can make a really good cup of coffee. Like, Yuki, you go girl, because I can't make coffee at all. I may have made once. I did in My Cat is a Barista, I think it's the name of that manga. It's 2 volumes. I mean, I did make coffee in that video, and I didn't use a coffee maker because I don't have one, but it was still like, that was cool. But I think it's just really cool to be able to do all the other things that are involved with making coffee, being a barista, making like small, I think she made like small little sandwiches and stuff like that. Like it just seems like a really cool job. Maybe I'm like, you know, making this have a little bit of glamour on it, because I'm sure it's not all really easy, and especially when you're working with people, with customers who are wanting coffee and have not got their coffee. I'm sure there's some angry people, because a lot of people need their coffee in the mornings. So I'm sure it's not all sunshine and roses, but I still think it's really cool. And anytime like I'm on social media and I see people making coffee, I'm like, I will stop and watch to see what kind of design you share with us, because I just think it's the coolest thing. So I think it's really cool that that's the job that Yuki has. Like, you go girl, super duper cool. cool. I can't believe we're on the honorable mention already. Like, I was like, oh, that went by really fast. So I guess I'm gonna go with Satomi from Imakoi Now I'm in Love. She gets a job also at a like cafe, but she's not a barista. She's like a waitress slash hostess. And I decided to feature this as an honorable mention because my very first job that I ever got, I was actually a hostess, and it was a really cool job. I really enjoyed it. I didn't stay there too long because some things happened anyway, but it was still like a memorable job, first job to have, and I really liked the boss and everything. So I just thought I would feature this as an honorable mention because I'm like, oh yes, when I got my first job, it was in the summer. I was doing the same job that Satomi was, though I wasn't dating anybody at that time. It wasn't actually till I got a new job that I met my boyfriend, now husband. So I'm glad that eventually I did leave and went to work elsewhere. But yeah, I just thought I'd feature a hostess because I thought it would be a lot of fun. That is all of my picks for today. I'm so sorry that this video was so chaotic. Thanks for watching to the end, and I hope that you enjoyed it. What are some jobs or summer jobs that you've seen in manga that you'd be like, that'd be a lot of fun to have? Or maybe you have like a really obscure job and you're like, whoa, that is cool to see the job that I do represented in fiction, because that's always really cool too, I think. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!